We've just got back from an MSC Northern Europe cruise, and we're going to give it the full review. We're going to cover 6 subjects and give it a 4B score out of 35. I'm Tom.
I'm Rachel.
And we are 50% of the 4Bs. What are the details, Rachel?
So we went on, as Tom said, an MSC ship. We went on Preziosa around Northern Europe, starting from Southampton, Hamburg, Cherbourg, Rotterdam, Bruges, Le Havre, and then back to Southampton. We stayed in an inside cabin and we paid £1,400 for all 4 of us, and that included the drinks package.
We have been on 4 MSC cruises this year, and every single one we have had smooth embarkation. Majority of those have been from the Horizon terminal in Southampton, and as you can see, it's a terminal that's under 2 years old. It's very, very efficient. There was lots of staff on hand.
Anything I would add to Embarkation, I'd also give it a 5 out of 5. Just to be aware, when you arrive, make sure you've got your passports. You will go through security, a little bit like at the airport. When you get to the desk, just make sure that you've got screenshots of your COVID passports and that you've got passports ready and you've got your health declarations to hand. And MSC like to have a paper copy of your health declaration.
5 out of 5 for Embarkation.
The ship. I would give the ship a 5 out of 5, I think. Yeah, I think out of all of the MSC ships that we've been on, this was the most spectacular, really. I think there were just lots of little places that you could go and sit. It didn't feel too big. I found with Virtuosa it's just massive open spaces, whereas Preziosa I just thought was quite grand. And as it's an older ship, yeah, I really liked Preziosa. How about you?
I totally agree with what you're saying. Everything flowed into one. You go from one bar to another bar, to then you end up at the theatre or you end up at the casino. Indoor pool was good. Outdoor pool was good. A couple of things I would say, I wouldn't give it a 5. I would give it a 4 due to the fact just a couple of things. And it is in dry dock as we speak. So I would say that it did need a bit of a paint up, like things like underneath the jacuzzi and stuff like that. It really needed a bit of, at the time. So at the time that we were on, I would say it did need a paint up, and hopefully that's happening in dry dock at the moment. There was a few quirks. I thought they could do more with the nightclub. That would be a lovely place in the daytime, like a sky lounge that could turn into a nightclub. I thought it was a bit of a wasted space up there, the whole of that space up the top there. Strange things, a bit like the slide as well. That would be good if it was all connected to the pool.
Yeah.
As well. These are all little small things, but in general, I loved the artwork that was around. I loved the crystals. It looked a real glamorous ship, and as you said, every venue felt like its own venue rather than just one massive venue.
Yeah, it did. And I think one thing I would say, if this is going to be the first cruise ship that you go on, you will probably get lost a lot. So we've been on quite a few ships, obviously, and actually normally I find it quite easy to find my way around, and after day 2 I know where everything is. This ship, I would come down, be going to dinner and think, God, what way am I going? Forward, backwards, middle, had no idea. And I think even by the last day, it was one of those ships that actually the kids, when they go in kids club, they can sign in and out, but I wouldn't have trusted them to be able to find their way around at all. Because it's just all over the place. It's a lovely ship. As I said, I would give it a 5 out of 5, and I would really like to go back on board Preziosa.
I would give it a 4 out of 5. So where are we going to meet?
4.5.
4.5 for the ship. Let's discuss our cabin. We'll just discuss it briefly about our cabin. We'll put it into 2 parts. First of all, we'll have the good part of we booked an inside cabin. Let's not talk about the location. We'll talk about that in 1 second. But as far as an inside cabin, so we knew it was an inside cabin. I thought it was okay as an inside cabin. The bathroom was okay. The room was all right. It was quite on the small side, but that is what we booked. So let's ignore the location. What do you think of it as an inside cabin? Maybe an inside cabin.
Yeah, I understand fully. It was an inside cabin.
Inside cabin.
Yeah, it was an inside cabin.
No window.
It was a small inside cabin. I got very, very stressed trying to walk around, especially when trying to unpack cases and everyone's walking in the way.
I think I actually did it.
And well, I think you actually did, which is the first time ever. But you couldn't move past each other. You couldn't swing a cat in it. It was nice. If it had been two of us, if it had been two of us in the cabin, it would have been absolutely perfect. Having four of us, space-wise, there wasn't really that much room to put anything. Yeah, I wouldn't stay in an inside cabin again on MSC.
So we're going to combine the score with the location. So for an inside cabin, I gave it a 4.
For an inside cabin, I'll give it a 3.
Location. Briefly inform us.
0.
Yes. Why was it 0?
Basically, Tom picked our cabin and he put us right down the end of one of the corridors, and we were right up to the door where they take the luggage on and off. And being on an MSC ship means that you have a port every single day that you can get on and off the ship. This meant at 1 o'clock in the morning, bags being thrown around, literally banging against the wall of the room that we were staying in. We did go down to reception at midnight quite a few times to see if we could change rooms. The answer was no.
Come talk to me. I've had a guy today and...
he fell in the bath.
Fell in the bath. I couldn't
and he didn't even get a room.
Must tell that story. Sorry, that was a terrible accent. Yeah, so location was right. And the other side, just to let you know, was the full corridor, because we had a room which was a bit bizarre, which had a full corridor going along. So, yeah,
people
I agree. I give it
up
0.
And down, kids screaming. Yeah.
So if we combine 4, 3, and 0, 2, 1.5?
1.5.
1.5.
Yeah.
May I pop in here and quickly ask, if you've enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. Please consider subscribing. We have some great cruise content coming in 2023. YouTube loves a thumbs up and a subscribe. From us all, it's a thank you. Now, let's see what we thought of the ports.
So we started in Hamburg, where there was a shuttle bus, and we'll get to the prices of the shuttle bus shortly. But on this occasion, I thought it was value for money. We got the shuttle in. It was 9 for kids and it was 11 for adults. And it took you right to the city centre, around about a 20-minute drive. It was a Sunday morning, so all of the shops were shut, but the museums and attractions were open. We went to Miniature Museum. Now, we did know that beforehand you did need to book your ticket, your slot. And I would do that months ahead. We're going in February and we've already bought our tickets for Miniatureland. There is slots available on the day, but there wasn't a slot available till 1:30, and we needed to be back by 5, and the gentleman in there advised us that you needed 4 hours. So my advice is get your ticket before for Miniatureland. But we did have a walkabout. We did go to Illusion, and that was around €40 for the 4 of us. Great way to spend an hour. You'll see some of it now. It was really good fun, wasn't it?
Yeah, and also the Illusion Museum, literally as you get off of the coach, if you go to your left, then it's just straight down that road. We took a very scenic route to get to it, which was really nice because we got to explore a bit of Hamburg. But yeah, it was really good fun.
Some people that we met on board, they went to the Chocolate Museum and said that was excellent as well. So if you're just ambling, great place to have teas, coffees, sit by the water's edge. Or if you've got a few attractions, and Miniatureland 5 out of 5 on our next cruise, we will review that. So that was Hamburg, and then let's move on now to Cherbourg. Actually, I'll deal with Cherbourg, shall I?
I didn't get off the ship.
You shouldn't get off the ship. But that's another tip. If you don't really fancy it, stay on ship, isn't it? Because it's nice and quiet.
Ernest and I did a bar crawl, drinking soft drinks and coffees, just to get that in there.
So we went to, we had Cecilia on this trip. Cecilia and Becky joined us. They are friends of ours. And Cecilia is in Alice's class. And we went to a place called Cite de la Mer. I'm pretty sure that's what it's called. It is in basically the terminal of Cherbourg. So you literally get off the ship, a couple of minutes walk, and you are there. You can't miss it. It's right in front of you. And it's 3 in 1. It's excellent. So first of all, you do have the aquarium. Very good aquarium. It had loads of things about sort of protecting the earth, and the kids loved it. I had to keep pulling them away because they were like listening to all the talks and sticking headphones on. Loads of fish. Excellent. It was really, really good aquarium. There was a submarine as well. Proper submarine. The audio guide was brilliant, and you really get to see what it's like to be in a submarine. And then to finish off, it's the Titanic. And that was really good. Not actually the Titanic. It didn't go into the Titanic, but it had a real life from what happened on the day. It showed you what first class was like. It showed you what storage was like. The kids were fascinated by it and kept asking questions. It was a really, really, it was €30 for me and Alice. And I would say it was definitely worth the money. You don't have to walk anywhere. And that is an excellent choice, especially if you've got children. So, c'est de la mer.
Just one thing though with the Titanic Museum, taking a 10-year-old to the Titanic Museum and them seeing exactly what happened, Alice was fascinated and wanted to watch the film when we got home, but she was also very worried that night going to sleep being on a ship. So
very true.
Yeah.
Yes. Next up, Rotterdam
or Liverpool
or Rome.
So
Not as if we've
Rotterdam.
done that joke today.
No. We like that joke. We like that song. Rotterdam was really lovely, actually. Beautiful bridge. Yeah, that's Rotterdam behind us. Beautiful bridge as you get off the ship, walk straight across, and then you're not quite in the town centre, but there's trams there, buses. There's loads of river taxis, which are really cool. We didn't actually go on one, but we did have a little walk around that area. We then jumped on a tram into the centre of Rotterdam. Lovely shops. Biggest Primark I've ever been in. Tom absolutely loved it. Alice managed to fleece us out of quite a bit.
Cafes,
yeah, we went to a really nice cafe, had some cake pops and a nice coffee, and then we ended up getting a taxi back to the port because we did get on a tram, but somebody
went the wrong way.
You
can walk it in around 25 minutes. You've got the trams which you can pay. You've got the metro and you've got the water taxis as well. Do not pay to go on the shuttle.
No.
That's one of the places don't pay because it was €40 for some strange reason. MSC is €40 for a family of 4. Bit strange, but yeah, Rotterdam really good. Lovely place to go in Hamburg. Lovely views of the ship as you can see from the bridge, and of course, when we go in February, we will go into Amsterdam, so we'll give you a review of Amsterdam. Then it was Bruges.
This was my 3rd or 4th time in Bruges this year.
Yes.
And I have got off the ship previously, but kind of just stayed in Bruges around the area. So there's a little chocolate, there's a little chocolate museum there, isn't there? You can buy things
but not
from,
much.
But not a lot. However, this time we decided that we were going to go into Bruges itself. So we walked to the tram and then we got on the train. So the trains are once an hour into the centre of Bruges. We hadn't realised that kids were free. The woman at the train station was absolutely brilliant and she refunded us for the kids. So actually,
kids are free. Don't pay for kids.
Don't pay for kids. And it's about a 15-minute journey into the centre of Bruges. Got to Bruges, had a little amble around. We went on a little river cruise, which was very lovely. We got to see a lot of the sights, didn't we?
You can buy that there, can't you? So
yeah,
it's about 30 euros.
And there's loads of them as well. It's not just one. So as you're walking around, you'll see the points that you can get on and off, and there's lots of different companies around doing that. Went to lots of chocolate shops, and then we had the most amazing fries I've ever had, and was it a Zoot beer?
Yeah, you've got to try the beers.
Yeah, the beer was really lovely.
If you don't ever get off a ship, got to get off for Bruges. Absolutely love it. We're going back in February, and
yeah, I feel a bit gutted now that I hadn't got off previously when I'd been and actually gone into Bruges.
Favourite place of the trip.
Yeah, definitely.
100%. Got to do Bruges. And then finally, Le Havre, we didn't get off. Rachel, give us your verdict out of 5 for a Northern Europe port.
I'd go 2.5 out of 5.
Oh, okay. I wasn't expecting that. Well, what brought it down?
I don't know, there's just a lot of other places in Europe that I would like to visit, and I just find that the itineraries are very much the same. As you say, Le Havre, there's not a lot to do in Le Havre. And one of the excursions is actually going into Paris for the day, but actually it's like 4 hours away, so it's not really a day trip.
Well, I would give it 4, so where should we meet?
You?
Yeah, I really enjoyed. I love the ports. I thought they were excellent. So what should we get? 3.5?
3.5.
3.5 out of 5.
Food. MSC food. It's a real mixed bag with MSC, and I've said it many times before. So the MDR itself, it's hit and miss whether you're going to get a good meal or not. There was one night the menu looked absolutely amazing, and I ordered duck à la orange, and Tom had beef Wellington. It was the driest duck I've ever eaten. Well, I didn't eat it, did I? I threw a tantrum and refused to eat it.
You'd be crackers to eat it.
However, there's always lots of variety. The MDR itself, we ended up having to change our tables a little bit so Becky and Cecilia could sit with us. MDR, not great. Buffet, however, on Preziosa, absolutely massive. A lot of the MSC ships, the buffet just kind of, it goes round in one circle, and if it's busy, it's really, really hard to get to anything. However, Preziosa, it's really spread out. So even though it's really packed, you can always find somewhere to go and sit. Recommend going right to the end of the buffet.
Great
and
views.
right at the after the ship, and actually amazing views there.
Excellent at lunch. I could have had, and sometimes I nearly did, 6 different lunches, things. But I found breakfast disappointing. There was loads of choice, but I just didn't really like what was in it. It was okay, but a lot of times I skipped breakfast and just went to lunch. And dinner, I could most nights pick one meal which I enjoyed, but there wasn't really much choice. They completely pulled it out. I think it's because a lot of people have an MDR, but from my point of view, I would say buffet, lunch, 5 out of 5, breakfast a 2, dinner a 2.5. But that was
I'd agree. And also Cecilia's got quite a few allergies, and they catered really well for them. She's gluten-free, so every time we went into the buffet or the MDR, they made sure that she had gluten-free.
There's a special chef, isn't there, chef for it?
There is, yeah.
Speciality restaurants. So on MSC Preziosa there is 2, and we did the 2 for, it was €50 each, I think. Yes, €50 each. We booked it before. So first of all, next to the nightclub, but the nightclub's not on, it's closed by the time the nightclub starts, you do have the Sushi Galaxy restaurant. As you can see, offers amazing views. Now, we had the dinner in the sushi restaurant while we were leaving Rotterdam, and it takes about 3 hours to go down the river in Rotterdam before you're out into the North Sea. And we took the full 3 hours due to the fact that the service was very slow. The waiters were excellent, but there wasn't enough of them, and they have a strange rule that if you don't book and you just turn up, they have to accept you. And on that night, they had about 3 or 4 massive groups that turned up, which did mean the service was very, very, very slow. Luckily for them, we had amazing views. As we were going down the river, people were waving their phones with their lights on. And yeah, it was something special. It was really, really amazing. So that saved, we didn't care about the service. But as far as the food, Rachel, did we enjoy the Galaxy sushi?
I've been dreaming about that sushi since we got off the ship. It was absolutely amazing. So Tom and I had the set menu. We had miso soup followed by some little prawns, and then a lovely sushi platter each. And we ordered the kids some separate sushi, didn't we? And I think even ordering the kids' food, it was about €30. But
Yeah.
we had loads of food, and the sushi was, I want some sushi now.
If you want an MSC ship, there's always sushi restaurants, so we would advise you to go. But that was excellent. And we also did Butcher's Cut, which is a staple of MSC. We quite enjoyed it in the summer on Seaview. But what do we think this time?
This time was 100% better than the last time. Although I did go for the seafood platter at the start, didn't I? Because when we were on Preziosa and when we were on Seaview, that's the one we went on, sorry, these platters looked absolutely amazing. So I was like, oh, I want to try that. So
yeah.
So we did.
So in the top box you get what's included, and then if you want additional things, they come at half price. So yeah. Rachel wanted to sample that. Some people say that they keep the food that's included on MSC to a certain level, so you upgrade. And I wouldn't be.
Yeah, I would agree with that. And actually, they wow you with the restaurants. I think every MSC ship we've been on, when we've been in the restaurant, the food's been outstanding. And you have this whole thing of, if it's that good here, why is it not that great in the MDR?
What would you give it out of 5?
I'd give it a 4 out of 5.
I was very disappointed with breakfast and dinner in the buffet and some of the meals, so I would only give it a 3.
Ooh, it's a
What
3.5 then, isn't it?
It's a 3.5.
And that's surprising, because it's normally me that would moan about the food.
I would say the service was pretty good for MSC. I would say it did let it down a little bit in the MDR. They were lovely people, nice people, but they kept on getting a lot of things wrong. I think they needed a bit of extra training. The guy was determined that I was having Heineken Zero.
Every night.
And we'd order something and they kind of would look at us for like, a minute. So it's nothing against them, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, they needed more training. And also something that drove me absolutely potty is the bars. They don't make any sense. And it's not the people doing it's fault. It's whoever organises MSC. So you go to the bar, the person behind the bar in some bars, can't take the order. So the waiter has to take your order. So you have people standing at the bar, and you also then he will ask you what you want. So you then order it. He then has an argument with the waiter because he hasn't put the order through the till. So then you have to repeat your order with the waiter, and then he sends it back to the person behind the bar. It's all very, very confusing. I bet you're confused because everyone is confused. You don't know whether you're ordering to the barman, you don't know whether you're ordering to the waiter, and half the time you end up ordering twice, and then sometimes people line up with the waiter. Oh my God, I'm even confusing myself now.
Yeah, it's just very hit and miss. So my top tip would be to actually sit at a table, which I've said before, and then just try and signal somebody. So they
But that doesn't work. No one comes.
Yes, they do. I got served every single time I needed to get served.
It's just disorganised.
So yeah, as you can see, Tom didn't really like the service in any of the bars. I didn't have a problem. Just found that if you sat down, put your hand up, or just order more drinks when you go up, then you don't need to go up so many times. And you can do that if you're on the drinks package. They will ask for multiple cards though if you are ordering more than one drink.
But generally, I thought, you know, it was pretty good. Like always this year, a bit short-staffed. Our cabin steward was all right, but didn't see much. He did a pretty good job. Nothing
spectacular.
I would say it was, in general, it was good. Nothing spectacular. I wasn't wowed. So I would give it a 2.5 out of 5.
I agree. I would give it a 2.5.
So for service, 2.5 to be improved. Activity and entertainment. First of the activities, I thought in the daytime, I enjoyed the quizzes, but I thought the other activities were a little bit poor. Things like kicking a ball into a goal through some things, and there was like
throwing foam darts.
70 people in this queue just to kick one ball. Yeah, I thought it was pretty poor. I did enjoy the quizzes though. If we're just talking about daytime, we'll talk about the evening entertainment in a second. You do have the F1 car. There was 2 games rooms. You did have the cinema as well, and the pool and the slide, which was amazing. I did love the slide. It was once the longest slide at sea.
But as Ernest said, it's not anymore.
So as far as data, there's lots of things going on. I was never bored. Inside pool, I would give it a good 4 out of 5. No, maybe 3.5 because I did think some of the activities there could have been better activities. Have you got any thoughts on daytime?
No, I'd agree. I think if you're not really that bothered with activities, it's the perfect ship for you. If you're someone that likes to be doing something, if you want to dance, actually, if you want to learn how to dance, MSC is perfect because there's dance classes going on all over the place. We've both got 2 left feet, so we just don't even bother trying to join in, do we?
No. Evening entertainment.
So the evening entertainment, actually, I would say was probably the best evening entertainment we've had on an MSC ship.
The theatre's massive.
MSC ship. Yeah, the theatre is absolutely ginormous stage, and there was a real variety in the shows. A lot of the shows were shows. So again, I said this when I went on Preziosa in September. The shows were the same as when we had been on in April, and it was again the same thing. There was quite a few shows that had been repeated. But they were a different variation. The singers were good. Yeah. So yeah, it was entertainment was good.
Yeah, I thought it was good. Duos are pretty rubbish. Well, there was a really good. They were playing music in the one of the jazz bar. They were really, really good. Some of the others were not, but that as usual.
My karaoke was better, and that's not. Really
there's some really good shows. Like they had a quiz one night where they were acting out the when you got the right film. They acted out the song from the film. Stuff like that.
That was really good.
Was excellent.
Evening entertainment there. And karaoke. We enjoyed
karaoke. That was live. And the nightclub was excellent as well. I really, really enjoyed the nightclub. Sometimes on cruise ships, the nightclub is like empty, but it was really, really lively. It was followed by the karaoke. It was a really, really lively ship actually. So I loved that in the evening. I really did enjoy the entertainment in the evening. I would almost give it a 4.5 out of 5. What would you give it?
Yeah, 4.
So if we combine all the activities on board, the daytime activities, evening activities, what are you going to give out of 5?
4.
4?
No, 3.5.
Okay, yeah, I agree with 3.5. I think some of the daytime activities let it down. Edging on to a 4, but I think we'll stop at 3.5.
Just a quick mention here. The kids mentioned the kids club. They did attend the kids club. There was plenty of sessions on offer, but the kids found it a little bit manic and not very organised, so didn't return very often. So it's a thumbs down from Alice and Ernest on the kids club. But let's find out the final verdict and score.
Woo! The final 4B's score was 20.5 out of 35. Pretty fair. So that will be our score now. Every cruise we go on, we're going to rate it on all of those subjects, and we are going to give you them a score out of 35. And we're going to retro back all the cruises we've been on the past year, and we're going to give them a score, and we're going to review our cruises from the past year coming up shortly on the channel, where we give our top 5 and give them all a score. Exciting, eh?
Very. And also we'll be, as Tom said, reviewing a lot of our cruises, but we'll be reviewing our Christmas cruise that we did last year.
That is next on the channel, isn't it?
Seeing as it's now December.
Whoa. So don't forget to watch that. That will be next on our channel. And don't forget to head down to all the videos, because we have all the videos from this Northern Europe cruise, including Embarkation, all about our cabin, and also the ship tour as well. So don't forget to click on those on our channel. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button. It really helps us out. It's completely free. And give it a like as well, because YouTube likes all that stuff, doesn't it?
It does.
The more likes, the more comments, the more subscribers.
And if we can get to 1,000 subs from this video.
Oh, they'll already be there. They'll already be there by the time they watch this.
Well, okay.
We will be. We're loving it. Anyway, we'll see you soon on Cruising with the 4Bs. Have a great rest of the day. And don't forget to check out this video, where we give you our guide to Northern Europe ports.